Very good morning to all. Hope everyone has came out from the holy mood and ready to face this Monday. My name is Amol. Today we will togetherly try to decode FSS Health Supplement Nutraceutical Regulations 2016. First, we will have a general overview, concepts. Then we will go for outline of the regulation. Then we will go for act, regulation, interrelations, then various categories, general conditions, claims, labeling. Friends, this is one of the complex regulation that we have. Therefore, rather than opting for a complex legal terms, we will try to simplify it in a layman's language. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, we will just go through an overview. Next slide. See, this sector is really experiencing, we can say the sector has really experienced exponential growth during the peak pandemic time. It's still growing, the changing lifestyle, dietary patterns, rise in the DI, consumer demand are the few driving forces behind this. We are attributing these products with the health, as well as we are having the very good, we can say, pharmaceutical infrastructure in the country, specifically in the state of Gujarat. So that's why it resulted in it gave us a base that we can grow, we can flourish the health supplement and nutraceutical industry. The most important factor that we are expecting within 4 or 5 years, these products will become a part of our daily life, or it will become a routine for us. That is the thing we are expecting. Another thing we are expecting that presently we are below 1% in global trade. So by the year 2026, we are expecting it will be around 3.8 to 4%. So that kind of growth we are expecting in the country. However, this market is dominated by the imported products. I don't know what is the reason. Though we are getting a quality stuff in the country, this market is still dominated by the imported products. These products are really helping government also in order to fight against malnutrition and micronutrient deficiencies. So these are some overview. This is overview of this sector. Next slide. So before we proceed, I thought we must have a general and clear understanding of some concepts. So first, we will go for those concepts, then we will proceed to the core of the regulation. Okay. The first thing is we need to distinguish food and drugs, because most of the times this is a very complicated subject. We can say this is a union wherein we are having union of drugs and foods. Even the term nutraceutical was coined like that way. It was so first we will understand the definition of food. So under section 31J of the FSS Act, the food means any substance. Remember, any substance, whether processed, partially processed, or unprocessed. It doesn't matter whether it is processed or not processed. Okay, whether processed, partially processed, or unprocessed, which is intended for human consumption. Okay, which is intended for human consumption, and including primary food, but does not include. See, the important portion in this sentence is but does not include. As per the definition of food, it does not include any animal feed, live animals, drugs, medicinal products, cosmetic, narcotic, or psychotropic substances. This is the very basic definition given under the FSS Act. I have just taken extracts. I have not copied as such. Okay. So we need to understand the drugs, medicinal products, cosmetics, narcotic, and psychotropic substances are not falling within the ambit of food. So this is the definition of food. Then what is the definition of drug? Next slide. As per the section 3B of the DCA, the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940, drug includes four types of things. All medicines for internal or external use of human beings or animals, and all substances intended to be used for or in the diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, or prevention. So important sentence is the medicines. Drug includes medicines which are having significance in diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, and prevention. Second thing, the second sentence, the definition itself says such substances in bracket other than food, such substances intended to affect the structure or any function of the human body or intended to be used for the destruction of worms or insect which cause disease in human beings. So it is having the preventive approach. The second sentence clearly says it is different than that of the food, and definition of food says it is different than that of the drug. Third, all substances intended for use as a components of a drug. Say for example, suppose we are in definition of food, we have learned that raw material of food is also food. Likewise, raw material of drug is also drug. That is the approach. And fourth thing, devices. As per the DC Act, devices also falls under the definition of the drug. Like MRI machine is a drug. Technically, it is a drug. So that is the basic difference between the food and drug. Okay, we need to understand this difference because it will help us to distinguish the health supplement, nutraceuticals, FSD from the drug products. Okay, next slide. Max to max, we can do one thing. We can distinguish foods into conventional and non-conventional foods. Like conventional foods, जो हम लोग रोज खाना खाते हैं, it is meant for nutrition, taste. It is having the satiety value. Similarly, we are having the non-conventional foods like FSDU, FSMP, nutraceuticals, health supplements. So these are meant for nutrition. It is having some function. These are meant for risk reduction. However, the food is never having the functions such like diagnosis, cure, mitigation, and prevention of the disease. You can find the term risk reduction, but you will not find the term prevention. So it is a function of drug. It can be Ayurvedic drug, it can be Unani drug, or it can be a normal drug. So this is a basic difference between the food and drug. For the better understanding, we will have one example. Next slide. Here you can observe same substance. Say for example, we are having a turmeric powder. If ground turmeric in a pulverized form is being sold as a spice, it will be called as conventional food. If you are taking out curcumin out of that turmeric root, if you are extracting curcumin and selling it as a nutraceutical, it become a non-conventional food. Still, it is a food. However, if you are manufacturing any cough syrup, say for example, out of that curcumin or out of that turmeric, okay, it will be a ultimately it will be a medicine because it is being used against some disease. Okay. Similarly, if that turmeric powder is being used in the face cream, it will fall under the purview of the cosmetics. So you can observe it is the same thing when being used, when the intended use is changed. Sometimes it is falling under the definition of conventional food, sometimes it is falling under nutraceutical, sometimes as a medicine, sometimes as a cosmetic. So intended use is a very important concept in the food safety also that we will observe in the next slide. That is the definition of the food safety. Next slide. In every presentation, in most of the presentation, I'm taking this definition. It is a very basic definition. Most of the people might be aware about this definition. Uh, Food safety. I guess your section quoted by me is wrong, but definition is correct. Okay. The food safety means assurance that food is acceptable for human consumption according to its intended use. This is a very unique definition, that food safety means assurance that food is acceptable for human consumption according to its intended use. So I would like to ask participants, can anybody answer what is the meaning of the term acceptable? Because acceptability can be a subjective term. So anyone from the participants? What is your understanding? What is your expectation? What is meant by acceptable? They're just saying if food should be acceptable for human consumption.
Participants, you can unmute and answer the
You
question.
can unmute and give the answer. What is your understanding of acceptable?
It means that food is not unsafe for the consumption.
Okay, food is not unsafe for the human consumption. If it is not unsafe, but it is not meeting the expected quality criteria, then will you
We
accept it?
have one answer from Supriya in the chat box.
Yes. What is meant by acceptable?
Couple of answers. Kajal says acceptable as per standard. One more which says showing no side effect from Supriya. Participants, we are a small group. Request if you unmute yourself and interact with our faculty, please.
Okay. I just want to understand what is your concept of acceptability of food.
Good answer.
So, as a regulator or as a common year, what are my expectation? What are our expectation? Whenever, as a regulator, we are speaking about the acceptability. Whenever we are certifying any particular stuff as a acceptable, we are thinking it is safe. Ultimately, it should be safe. It is meeting a quality criteria. It should be securely packed and adequately labeled. So we are always adopting a SQPL approach. It should be safe. It should meet expected quality. It should be securely packed and should be adequately labeled. So whenever you are certifying any stuff as a safe, you just remember you need to go through these four factors. Then only you can say that particular food is acceptable for human consumption. Second thing is intended use. Intended use is also important term. Most of the regulatory bodies across the globe, they have missed that sentence, intended use. We can say very few countries they are having that term in their definition as intended. Intended use means, suppose you are buying a cake. So cake is cake, or you can say pastry. Cake is meant for ready consumption. If some person is just frying that cake, he is eating like that, so it will not be acceptable because there is a deviation from the intended use. So there is no liability of manufacturer because that consumer has deviated the intended use. Rather than eating that pastry as it is, he went for frying. So then principle of intended use will come in the picture. Okay. Next slide. Then what is meant by nutritional ingredients? There is a minor difference between the definition of nutritional ingredients and nutrient ingredients. That's why I thought we must understand the nutritional ingredients means the ingredients specified in the schedule. Schedules means the schedules under the HSN regulations other than food additives. It means you cannot claim the food additives as a nutritional ingredient. It is having just technological function. You cannot say I am using ascorbic acid as an antioxidant as well as it is having the nutritional benefit. If you are using it as additive, you cannot claim it as a nutritional ingredient. So means the ingredients specified in the schedules other than food additives packed and made available in a form not for retail consumer use. So basic idea is these are the ingredients specified in schedules which are meant for B2B sale or B2B consumption. Similarly, we are having the definition of premixes. Premixes is just a combination of nutritional ingredients. Okay, these are also B2B thing. So nutritional ingredients is also B2B thing. Premixes is also a B2B thing. Premixes is just a combination of ingredients mentioned in the schedules. It will also cover nutrient ingredients because schedule 1 is having the nutrients. Okay, schedule 2 is having the nutrients. Likewise, nutritional ingredients is a broad term. So in the next slide, we will have the nutrient ingredients. Next slide. Nutrient ingredient. What is the mean by scope of nutrient ingredients is very limited. It includes only three things. Nutrient ingredient means vitamins, minerals, and amino acids as specified in Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. It means the scope of nutrient ingredients is limited to Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. However, for nutritional ingredients, it is from Schedule 1 to Schedule 8, excluding the Schedule 5, because Schedule 5 is for additives. Okay, hope you understand the difference between the nutritional ingredients and nutrient ingredient. Next slide. Now we will go for a act regulation interrelation. See, every regulation is having its roots in the act. Likewise, the FSS Act came into existence. It is a consolidated law. You can say it established FSSAI as a single reference point for laying down scientific standard. Most of the people might be aware of that. So, what is the connecting link between the HSN regulation and FSS Act? The Section 22 plays a critical role, which acts as a connecting link between the FSS Act and Nutraceutical regulation. So, what is the Section 22 of FSS Act? Next slide. See, for the purpose of understanding, I have divided Section 22 into 4 parts. Okay. Section 22 is an umbrella which gives you the basic idea of the nutraceutical regulation. Once you understand the Section 22, obviously you will understand the entire HSN regulation in a very effective manner. You just pay your attention towards 4 slides. It will be very easy for you. Okay. So part A, I have divided it into 4 parts. It is not there in the Act. So Section 22, Part A defines the food for special dietary uses or functional foods or nutraceuticals or health supplement. What is the definition? So food for special dietary uses, functional foods, nutraceutical or health supplement means foods which are specially processed or formulated. Remember, this thing should be specially processed or formulated. Say, for example, we are having a Bengal gram flour, besan. We are having the Bengal gram flour. It is having a protein content around 20 to 22%. We cannot sell it as a health supplement or we cannot sell it as a protein supplement because the necessity is it should be specially processed or formulated. So foods which are specially processed or formulated. For what? Q ki humne special processing to satisfy the particular dietary requirement. Then what was the reason behind the dietary requirement? What is the driving force which exists because of particular physical or physiological condition or specific disease and disorder? So simply it should be specially processed to meet the particular dietary requirement. Dietary requirement is arising because of particular physical or physiological condition. and 4 sentences which are presented as such, wherein the composition of these foodstuff must differ significantly from the composition of ordinary foods. It means if the definition itself says it should be different than that of the ordinary foods. Suppose we are selling chocolate as a health supplement, though it is having the load of nutraceuticals and health supplements, vitamins and minerals. Can we sell it as a health supplement? No. Or can we sell it as a nutraceutical? No. Because for us, chocolate is a ordinary food which is already standardized. Its ingredients are already defined. So one cannot claim ki my chocolate is a health supplement, my chocolate is a nutraceutical, because the definition itself says these foodstuffs must differ significantly. Okay, it is not just differ, it should differ significantly. You remember 4 things: specially processed to satisfy dietary requirements arising out of the particular conditions, and these foodstuffs must differ significantly. This is the part A. Next slide. This is the definition. Next slide. This is the composition. What can be the composition? It may contain one or more of the following ingredients. It can contain plant or botanicals or their parts in the form of powder, concentrate, or extract. Say, for example, the regulation permits powder of drumstick. It doesn't mean the concentrate of drumstick is permitted, but the regulation itself specifies which portion is permitted. Suppose the roots of particular plant are permitted, it doesn't mean leaves are permitted. So we need to adopt that approach. So the 4 things which are permitted: plant or botanicals or their parts in the form of powder, concentrate, or extract. Then obviously we can add minerals, vitamins, proteins, metals, or their compounds or amino acids up to 1 RDA, along with the enzymes. We can say enzymes as a part of protein, or you can say enzymes as a catalyst or treating agent, whatever. But these are permitted. Then third thing, substances from animal origin. So there is no bar that this stuff should be obviously vegetarian, and likewise there is no bar. You can add substances from animal origin which are permitted in the regulations. Say for example, we are having the fish gelatin. For a dietary substance for use by human beings to supplement the diet. So they have listed in the schedules which are the dietary substances for use by human beings to supplement the diet. Okay. This is the thing which can be a part of HSN products. Plant or botanicals, vitamin, we can say nutrients, substances from animal origin, and dietary substances. Third thing, next slide. Forms. So which formats? We can offer which formats? Such products may be formulated in the form of powders, granules, tablets, capsules, liquids, jelly, and other dosage formats. So it should be easy for us to give the dosage of the particular product, except parenterals. So parenterals will not be governed by any of these regulations. We cannot formulate these products in the form of parenterals. Okay. And part D, it excludes. The definition of food itself excludes. It means the definition of HSN also excludes. Such product does not include a drug. That is a basic understanding. Such product does not include the Ayurvedic drug, Siddha drug, Unani drug, etc. So this is the basic understanding, basic definition given under the FSSAI. It defines, it stipulates the composition, then formats, then distinguishes from the drug. Okay. Next slide. Now we will have an exercise. You can, rather than answering it immediately, you can note down. Then you can, I will read for you. The first question is food safety. Food safety means assurance that food is acceptable for human consumption according to its option D, declared use, option E, end use, option F, intended use, option G, accepted use. We have already discussed the definition of food safety, so most of you might have answered the same. So second question is, Which of the following is not a food? Second question. Whiskey, option M, whiskey. Option N, baking powder. Option O, ginger cough syrup. Option, you can say P, jaggery. Yeah, most of the people have answered it as a O because it will fall under the definition of the drug. It will not be a food. Okay. Then in the previous slide, answer of the question 3 was in previous slide. The food for special dietary use or functional foods or nutraceuticals or health supplements may not be formulated in the form of tablets. Yes, we can go for tablets. We can go for capsules. Then option O, parenterals, and option P, granules. Obviously, we cannot go for parenterals. That's why the answer is, I guess, O. Okay, hope everyone has answered the questions. Next slide. Now we'll go for outline of the HSN regulation. For the purpose of uh, understanding, I'm referring this regulation as a HSN regulation. So whenever I'm referring the term HSN regulation, it means it covers FSS, health supplement, nutraceutical, FSDU, FSMP, FF, and novel food regulations. So I'm just for the purpose of understanding, I'm referring the term HSN regulation. Next slide. Yes, section 22 acts as a connecting link between the HSN regulation and FSS Act. So we can say this is a child, okay, of the Act. Next slide. This is the basic outline. FSS, health supplement, nutraceutical, FSDU, FSMP, functional food, and novel food regulation 2016. Initial date of compliance was 1st of Jan 2018. Then now we are into the process of amendment, which will be enforced from the 1st of April 2022. It means after, we can say, 11 days. So amendment enforcement date is 1st April 2022. Okay. In this regulation, we are having 13 clauses and 9 schedules. What are those 13 clauses? Next slide. So clause 1 and 2, we are having short title and definitions. Then in clause 3, we are having around 33 general requirements. It is a core of regulation. Most of the people, they are saying the health supplement, individual definitions and all is a core of regulation. For me, the general requirements is really an extract of this regulation. When you will understand those 33 requirements, and when you read these 33 requirements with the section 22, you will get a better clarity on this regulation. On clause 4, in clause 4, we are having claims. Clause 5 is for general principles for query or challenge. Then from clause 6 to 13, we are having the products. We are starting from health supplement, Nutra, then FSDU, FSMP, probiotic, prebiotic, then specialty, and under clause 13, we are having the novel foods. Next slide. We are having 9 schedules. Previously, we were having 8 schedules only. Now, slowly or gradually, we are into the process of standardizing the ingredients. We are having the parameters of ingredients. Right now, we have started with the psyllium. In the first schedule, we are having a list of vitamins, minerals, and their overages. In second schedule, we are having a list of essential and non-essential amino acids and nucleosides. Third schedule is values for vitamins and minerals and trace elements allowed to be used in the FSMP products. Previously, it was for FSDU also, but now from 1st of April, it will be limited to FSMP only. In Schedule 4, we are having list of plant or botanical ingredients. Schedule 5 is meant for additives. We are having around 6 subschedules in Schedule 5. Okay. Then Schedule 6, it is important schedule for nutraceuticals. We are having the nutraceutical ingredients listed in the Schedule 6 into two parts, Part A and Part B. Okay. Schedule 7, we are having list of strains of probiotics, that is live microorganism. In the 8th schedule, we are having list of prebiotic compounds. And 9th one, it is a new schedule in which we are having the few standards for ingredients. So you just remember the Schedule 3 is now limited to the FSMP. Schedule 6 is for nutraceutical ingredients. Schedule 1 and 2 comprises nutritional ingredients, because the definition of nutrition ingredient is limited to vitamins, minerals, and amino acids. Ultimately, nutrition ingredients will be limited to Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. In the next slide, we will have some salient features of these regulations. Next slide, please. What is there in this regulation? Uh, Fortunately, we are having detailed definition of each category of food based on their composition and application, you can say. Then we are having schedules detailing various ingredients and additives which can be used for making these 8 categories of food as given in the regulation. Then we are having, just a second. Hello. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so now we are having definitions, we are having the schedules, then we are having the provisions related to the quality requirements, packaging, labeling, claims, then formats given under the section 22, as well as we are having the portion, part, level, purity, permitted range of botanicals, and the nutrients. Next slide. Presently, we have 16 vitamins with more than 40 active compounds with its RDA, 15 minerals with more than 100 compounds and its RDA, 22 essential amino acids, 28 non-essential amino acids, 7 nucleotides, around 440 plant or botanicals. That is a schedule. Then we are having around 230 nutraceuticals divided into two parts. The 30 probiotics, 16 prebiotics, more than 390 additives. No regulation in the world is having that number of additives permitted in the health supplement and nutraceuticals. Okay. The most important thing is, in addition to this, you can opt for suitable esters, derivatives, and salts of vitamins and salts and chelates of minerals under intimation to the authority. So there is a wide scope for the innovation in this regulation. Next slide. As I have already referred, general requirements are important thing, important part of this regulation. Once you understand the general requirements, once you read the general requirements with the section 22, you will get a clear picture. So rather than going for all 33 requirements, I have compiled these requirements as per its implication, as per its usefulness. Okay. So what is there in this general requirements? It specifies the quality requirements. In bracket, I have mentioned clause for your understanding. Quality requirements. The clause 1 and 3 you can say sub clause of the clause 4. That is clause sub clause of the clause 3. Clause 3 we are having the general requirements. So quality requirements. The for capsule, it says capsule shall comply the general monograph or IP. Okay. Then for tablets, capsules, and syrup, it shall comply the general quality requirements and standards as per IP, BP, or USP. So these are the quality requirements which are mentioned under the general requirements. Then it speaks about the purity. Clause 8 to 9 speaks about the purity. Purity shall be notified by the authority. That is the basic theme. Purity shall be notified by the authority. But however, uh, as on date, we have not notified purity for most of the ingredients. So there is a relaxation. In absence, if the purity is not specified by the authority, then you can go for purity and quality standards listed under the IP or Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia or BIS or PP or USP, or you can go for Food Chemical Codex. You can go for the Indian medicinal plants. You can go for ICMR. You can go for joint FAO or WHO expert committee on food additives, or you can go for a codex standards under intimation to the authority. If the purity is not specified by authority, you can opt any of these purity and quality standard. For RDA compliances, obviously we are having a very good RDA established by the ICMR. However, we are still lacking in few nutrients. In such cases, the RDA prescribed in the codex shall apply. So for RDA, you are having only two options. Either you need to go for ICMR or codex. That too in absence. If RDA of particular nutrient is not specified under the ICMR, then you can go for a codex. Tolerance limit shall not be more than minus 10% from the declared value of the nutrients. It is common since 2016. Regulation asks to declare colors and flavors. Then there is one peculiar comment on manufacturing of ingredients and products. It just simply says as per the GMP. It is having a wide meaning that manufacturing of ingredients and products should be as per the GMP. Because for nutraceuticals, like in the licensing regulation, we are having the different schedules for petty, for all food business operator, for milk, for meat. Likewise, we are not having a specific schedule for the nutraceutical industry. So that's why they have just quoted it as per GMP. Next slide. Then the general requirement speaks about the formulation. How I can formulate the health supplement, nutraceutical, FSMP, and FSD. What are the ingredients are permitted? Which ingredients are permitted? Obviously, there is a lot of flexibility. Number one, you can go for scheduled ingredients and additives. Obviously, the ingredients and additives which are mentioned in the ठीक है, तो मैं सिग्नेचर करून देता हूँ थोड़ा, ठीक है, सबको लेके आइए, मैं ले, ठीक है. Okay, so formulation. In formulation, we can use four type of ingredients. Obviously, primarily, we need to go for the ingredients which are mentioned under the schedules of the HSN regulation. Okay, the ingredients are not limited to the scheduled ingredients. Secondly, you can use the cereal grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables mentioned in the IFC tables published by NIN ICMR. Okay. Then third, first is scheduled ingredients, second is IFC table, third is spices included in the list published by the Spice Board of India. Number 3. Number 4. You can also opt for ingredients which are standardized or permitted for use in preparation of other standardized food as specified in the FSS Food Product Standard and Food Additives Regulation 2011. So here also you are having the flexibility. You can use 4 types of ingredients: scheduled, IFC table, spices, and ingredients which are already standardized or permitted in the standardized foods. One cannot claim that this particular ingredient is permitted in the proprietary food. That's why I'm using it. So they have given peculiar sentence that other standardized food. Then there is a comment under 32, that is 332, key only water, ethyl alcohol or hydroalcoholic process of extraction is permitted for plant or botanical extracts. Either you need to go for ethyl alcohol or water or hydroalcoholic process of extraction. If you want to use any other solvent, if you want to use any different extraction technology, you need to go for approval. So here the scope is limited. Okay. There are some conditions. It should be based on principle of sound medicine or nutrition and some supported by validated scientific data. Okay. In this regulation, there is a tremendous liability on the food business operator. You need to prepare, you need to maintain, you need to validate the scientific data. Okay. Then regarding the combination of ingredients, there is a clause 29. It says there should be some rational. There should be a rationale based on available scientific and technical evidences. One cannot, because schedule में दिया है, मैं combine कर रहा हूँ, recipe बना रहा हूँ. Like as you might have observed, कोई लोग YouTube पे देख के खाना बनाते हैं. इस तरीके से नहीं. There should be some scientific and technical evidence. Then regarding the health supplements, if you want to make a nutrient content claim, that nutrient should be more than 15% of the RDA. If you want to use the term higher, then obviously that nutrient content should be more than 30% of the RDA. That is a specific mention about the health supplement. Similarly, for FSMP, nutrient or nutritionally complete formulation, it says you need to follow the ICMR guideline. So every year ICMR is giving some guideline regarding the FSMP, which is meant for nutrient or nutritionally complete formulation. You just need to adhere to that specific guidelines. Okay. Next slide. Labeling, subclause 15, 16, and 22 speaks about the labeling of the HSN product. It says every HSN product shall specify the purpose. Remember the purpose, the target consumer group, and the physiological or disease conditions which they address, recommended duration, and instruction of use. These things are unavoidable. It should be there on the label. क्यों बनाया, किसके लिए बनाया, कितने दिन लेना है, कैसा लेना है. Okay, it should be there on the label because label is for consumer. Then you need to follow specific labeling requirements as mentioned against each type of article of the food. There are specific labeling requirements which are mentioned in the regulation. Say for example, we are having the clause number 6 for the health supplement. Obviously, few labeling requirements are mentioned under the clause 6. For nutraceutical, it will be under the clause 7. Like you need to mention that specifically article as a health supplements, not for medicinal use. Likewise, we are having the labeling requirements. Then compliances and test parameter. Clause 23 and clause 33. Clause 23 clearly says the article should meet the FSS CTR, sorry, we call it as a contaminants, toxins and residue regulation 2011. It means that we need to ensure the safety of that particular stuff as per the FSS contaminant, toxic and residue regulation 2011. There is no escape from the parameter. Then 33 says if you want to make some claims which are not governed under this regulation, so you need to go for a approval. Or if you are making any claim for which approval is required as per the FSS Advertising and Claims Regulation 2018, then too your product is liable for the approval. These are the compliances and test parameters. So there are a few restrictions mentioned in the general requirements, like no hormones or steroids or psychotropic ingredients can be used. Then any single purified chemical not permitted without approval of the food authority. Okay, so restrictions. We were on the restrictions. There are few restrictions like no hormones or steroids or psychotropic ingredients can be used. Any single purified chemical not permitted without approval of the food authority. If you want to use any single purified chemical, important word is purified. If you want to use purified chemicals, you need to go for a approval. Age group is always more than 24 months because for infants now we are having a separate regulations. Okay. Obviously, it shall be different from the ordinary foods. It is already mentioned in the 22 we have discussed. Then claims like preventing, treating, or curing a human disease are restricted in this regulation for any of the products. Okay, like preventing, treating, or curing or human disease are restrictions. So these are the general requirements. Under general requirements, we are having three key explanations. Now we will go for that. Next slide. The first explanation says, suppose you are having a food or ingredient standardized under the FSSR or plant or botanical specified under the Schedule 4, which is offered in normal or naturally occurring forms. It cannot be termed as a health supplement, nutraceutical, FSD or FSMP because the definition says it should be different from the ordinary food source. You need to remember that thing. Definition itself says it should be different from the ordinary food source. That is the explanation first. Explanation two is moreover similar. A mere food form such as Karela lelia. Karela is good for diabetes. Karela ka juice. Will it be a health supplement or nutraceutical? No, because merely a minimal processing either in juice or cooked form shall not constitute the article as health supplement, nutraceutical, effective. Because in section 22, you remember the word, it should be specially processed or formulated. So explanation one is related to the different from ordinary foods. Explanation two, it should be specially processed and specially formulated. Explanation three, to promote maintenance of health primarily through food formats as permitted under section 22 of the wherever applicable. Tablets, capsules, and syrups can also be used as a formats for presentation of the products. Prior to the amendment, what was the problem? The food formats were must. Now also 90% of the things it should be in a food format. However, authority has adopted a lenient approach and they have said in order to promote the maintenance of health primarily through food formats, we are allowing the tablets, capsules, and syrups for preparation of these products. That was the approach adopted by the authority. That's why the explanation 3 was introduced. It will be implemented since the 1st of April. Okay. So these are the important explanations mentioned in the regulation. Now we will go for the general principle. Next slide. General principle for query or challenge, it is a clause 5. It is a very common clause, but it's put some responsibilities on the APO. That's why I have taken. Next slide, please. We will just have a quick glance on that. It says ABO shall remember there are 4 major responsibilities. These are not mentioned in the Act. These are specifically mentioned in the regulation. Like our responsibilities are mentioned in the section 26 of the FSS Act. So these are the additional, or you can say the connected responsibilities. FBO shall possess, avail, and get reviewed comprehensive product information, safety, and claim support data. You should have the entire data related to the product, its safety, and claims. It should be reviewed by the qualified reviewer. Okay. Then, suppose authority is having any clarity, or if authority is asking any technical query to you, you should be able to answer. You should assist the food authority. That is the additional responsibility. At last, they are saying, suppose authority directs you to alter or modify or stop any particular claim which is violating or deviating from the regulation, you need to stop that claim. It establishes liabilities as well as the responsibilities on the FBO. That's why the clause 5 is, though it is a very small clause or small uh, portion of the regulation, it is very important. Most of the people, they're not maintaining the product safety data. They're not going for the qualified review. So I thought we must put this slide in this presentation. Now we have completed with our outline of this regulation. What are the general requirements? What is section 22? Now we will dive into the core of the regulation. What are the categories under regulation? Next slide. Next slide. Right now, we are having the 8 food categories under HSN. Okay. Novel foods, obviously, novel foods are the articles which are not having any history of safety, or if you are having any new technology, obviously you need to go for a approach. So this is entirely a different subject. So our today's topic is from clause number 6 to clause number 12. Clause number 6 is a health supplement. Health supplements are mean to supplement the normal diet. Okay, जो हम रूटीन में लेते हैं उसको supplement करने के लिए health supplements है. Then nutraceuticals, these are isolates or extracts providing the health benefits. Most of the nutraceuticals are listed under the schedule 6. FSDU, foods for special dietary uses, these are meant to supplement the dietary requirement rising because of particular health condition. FSMP is directly meant for the patient. देखिए जिससे हम FSDU दे रहे हैं, not necessarily कि वो बीमार हो, but FSMP obviously वो बीमार है. वो बीमार है लेकिन हम उसकी बीमारी के लिए FSMP नहीं दे रहे. बीमारी के वजह से जो challenges वो फेस कर रहा है उसके लिए हम FSMP दे रहे हैं. That is the concept behind the FSMP. It is not meant to treat the probiotic. Obviously, it is having the live microorganisms which are beneficial to the human health. Prebiotics, food with prebiotic, which supports that probiotic organism. It is like a ration to the soldier. Suppose we consider the probiotics as a soldier, and prebiotics is a ration to that soldier. Specialty foods, we can say Schedule 4 is a heritage of the India. Most of the things are taken from the Ayurveda. So that's why we have specifically designated Schedule 4. We have kept it different from the nutraceutical. Though it is having some nutraceutical properties, our Schedule 4 is different. We are just mentioning the food containing plant or botanical ingredients conferring health benefits. So we can say it as a vegetarian schedule. Okay, obviously it is a heritage of the India. Next slide. permitted composition, we are having 8 schedules, we are having 13 clauses, we are having 8 type of products. Likewise, in health supplements, you need to use either schedule 1 and schedule 2, either schedule first or schedule second ingredient is mandatory. So as per amended regulation, you cannot manufacture a health supplement without schedule first or schedule second ingredients. Either you need to go for schedule first or schedule second or combination of them. It means schedule first and schedule second ingredients are must in the health supplement. Similarly, in nutraceutical, schedule 6 ingredients are mandatory. In specialty foods, schedule 4 ingredients are mandatory. In probiotic, schedule 7 is mandatory. In prebiotic, schedule 8 is mandatory. Likewise, for health supplements, you need to go for schedule first and schedule second. Then you may add schedule 4, then enzymes and proteins from the schedule 6. You cannot add each and every ingredient from schedule 6. However, you can add enzymes and proteins from the schedule 6 in the health supplement. Then see, schedule 7 and schedule 8, these are the probiotic and prebiotic ingredients. Okay. So you can directly put it in any of these products. So there is no question of schedule 7 and schedule 8. You forget schedule 7 and schedule 8. Okay. Nutraceutical, schedule 6 ingredient is must. You can add ingredients from other schedules. Similarly, for FSDU, you can use combination of any of these schedules. For FSMP, you can use combination of any of these schedules except schedule 6. Schedule 6, only enzymes are permitted in the FSMP, not the entire schedule 6 is permitted in the FSMP. When we are coming towards the additive parts, you can observe whenever you are formulating the stuff in the format of tablets, capsules, and syrups, you can use a schedule 5F ingredient. So, schedule 5F ingredients are permitted in each and every product. Okay. Similarly, schedule 5E ingredients, 5E additives, sorry, 5E additives are permitted in each and every products that too at a GMP level. So 5E additives are GMP. So you remember we are having 5A to 5F. So whenever you are using the tablet, capsule or syrup format, you can go for a schedule 5F ingredient. 5E, okay, schedule 5E, it is okay with each and every product. These are the GMP additives. However, regarding the other schedules of additives, only schedule 5A additives are permitted in health supplement and nutraceuticals along with obviously 5E and 5F. So for whenever you are studying this regulation, you always study health supplement with nutraceutical, then FSD with FSMP, probiotic with pre, then specialty, then novel. So in health supplement and nutraceuticals, 5A additives are permitted. In FSDU, 5B is permitted. In FSMP, 5C is permitted. Suppose you are having FSMP for slimming or weight reduction, then you can go for a 5D additives. Probiotic, these are happy persons, they are okay with any of the additives from 5A to 5A. Prebiotic, same 5A to 5F. But I would like to highlight one thing in the serial number 5 and 6 regarding probiotic food and prebiotic food. It just says you can add additives from schedule 5A to 5F in the uh, probiotic preparation or prebiotic preparation. It nowhere says you can add that particular additives in a probiotic food. Suppose I want to manufacture a jam, probiotic jam. It doesn't mean that I can use additives or colorants which are permitted in the schedule 5A to 5F. Obviously, the core additives will be of jam. In that particular probiotic portion or prebiotic portion, you can go for additives under schedule 5A to 5F. So there is a specific word in the probiotic preparation or prebiotic preparation. You remember this thing for the probiotic or prebiotic The core additives will be as per its original categorization. Okay. Then for probiotic portion, you can go for 5A to 5F additives. Specialty foods, schedule 4 ingredients are mandatory and recommended additives are only 5E GMP and 5E when you are opting for a tablet, capsule or syrup format. Okay. So it means indirectly or passively they are emphasizing that specialty foods should be formulated in the form of tablets, capsule or syrup because additives, most of the additives which are permitted in tablet, capsule or syrup format only. So you remember only four things. Health supplements should have first and second schedule ingredient. Nutraceuticals should have schedule 6 ingredients. Specialty foods schedule 4. In the health supplement, only enzymes and proteins listed in Schedule 6 are permitted, not the entire Schedule 6. In FSMP also only enzymes of Schedule 6 are permitted, not the entire Schedule 6. Okay. 5F is for tablet, capsules and syrup. So now we will have exercise, second exercise. Next slide. I will read the questions. In order to qualify article as a nutraceutical ingredients from which of the following schedules, which of the nutraceutical ingredients from which of the following schedule are mandatory for nutraceutical? Is it schedule 6, schedule 4, schedule 5? Schedule 5 is not answer because schedule 5 is a additive. So either it can be schedule 1, schedule 4 or schedule 6 for nutraceutical. If you want to qualify article, okay. Then question 5, which of the following is not a type listed in Indian HSN regulation? You might have observed the 8 types. So answer this question very carefully. Which of the following is not a type listed in Indian HSN regulation? Option P, health supplement. Option Q, food for special medical purpose. Option R, novel foods. Option S, dietary supplements. Novel foods, though it requires approval, it is there in the regulation. So you can answer for question 5. Sixth question is health supplement, nutraceuticals, FSDU, FSMP, novel food, etc. finds their primary roots in which section of the FSSAI? I have frequently emphasized on that particular section. I guess everybody is aware of about that particular section and they will read it after this presentation also. Okay. Now we will go for individual products. Next slide. Health supplements category first. Health supplements scope of the health supplements is to supplement the normal diet of a person above the age of 5 years. Okay, the target consumer is above the age of 5 years who are the healthy individuals. It can be taken by anybody. Then what is the composition? It shall contain concentrated source of one or more nutrients, namely C, amino acids, enzymes, minerals, proteins, vitamins, other dietary substances, plant or botanicals, prebiotics, probiotics. Again, it says you should have a concentrated source. So concentrated means, again, the term is specially processed. Concentration is specially processing. Okay, it is like mitti se sona nikalna. Okay, then schedule first or schedule 2 or both are must. However, you may contain schedule 4, schedule 6, that's protein and enzymes. Schedule 7 and schedule 8, obviously there is no problem with the pre and probiotic. What about the additives? Schedule 5A, 5E and 5. You remember 5E and 5F are common for additives. For ingredients, schedule 7 and schedule 8 are common in each and every product. What are the key features? It shall be marketed in wherever possible. It shall be marketed in a single-use pocket or in a dosage formats, namely capsule, tablets, pills, sachet, jelly or gel, semi-solid or other similar forms or any other forms of liquids and powder designed to taken in a measured unit quantity. Intention is very clear. The consumer should be able to take it in a measured unit quantities. That is the prime intention behind the dosage. Last thing, it should comply with the 1 RDA requirement. It should not exceed the 1 RDA. Okay. Next slide. Here we have the nutraceuticals. Nutraceuticals, see, health supplements is meant to supplement the normal diet. However, nutraceuticals is sort of a luxury. It says the nutraceutical shall provide a physiological benefit and may help to maintain a good health. The nutraceutical may or may not be necessary. However, nutraceutical shall provide a physiological benefit. That is the intention behind the nutraceutical. Age group about 2 years. Target consumer healthy individuals. Composition, it should have a extract, isolate, and purify nutraceuticals from food or non-food sources. That is, for example, preparing amino acids and their derivatives by bacterial fermentation under the controlled condition. It indirectly says a schedule 6 ingredient is must. Optionally, you can add a schedule 1st, 2nd, 4th, 7th, and 8th ingredient. Again, additives are common in health supplement and nutraceutical. Formats are common. Intention is a consumer should be able to take it in a measured unit quantities. But the important thing in the nutraceutical is there should be a standardization to the marker compounds. Say, for example, in the schedule 6 part A, we have given some marker compound. In schedule 6 part B, we have not given a marker compound. So it is a liability of FBO to ingredient other than schedule 6 as a nutraceutical. Obviously, you need to go for a approval. Okay. Then in some of the schedules, they have mentioned minimum and maximum usage level. Okay. If it is not specified, then FBO shall adopt the usage level based on relevant scientific data and written documentary evidence of such data. So obviously, if you are doing anything on your own, or you are doing a sumoto, you are establishing the sumoto minimum and maximum usage levels, obviously you should have a relevant scientific data. This entire regulation speaks about the data and data. Okay. Nutraceutical should also fall under the ambit of 1 RDA. Okay. So we will have a last question. Next slide. Which of the following statement is true for health supplement and nutraceuticals? Option D, health supplements can be served for age group 1 to 5 years. Can it be served? Health supplements and nutraceuticals may exceed RDA but not Schedule 3. Option F, the quantity of nutrients added shall not exceed the RDA. And option G, nutraceuticals are meant to supplement the normal diet. Option D, E, F, G. Okay. Option D is not answer because obviously requirement is more than 5 years. Option E and F, they cannot exceed the RDA. Yes, you're right. Option G, nutraceuticals are meant to supplement the no. These are the health supplements. Health supplements are meant to supplement the normal diet. So that is the answer will be. Hope everybody has. On next slide, FSDU. We are going complex. We are entering into the complexity. Okay. Similarly, FSDU are specially processed or formulated requirements owing to certain physiological or specific health conditions like. देखिए, जिसे FSDU दिया जाता है, they are having some physiological or specific health condition. It doesn't mean that they are बीमार. वो लोग बीमार नहीं हैं. They are having some physiological or specific health condition. That's why they need a FSDU. So accordingly, we are formulating. Accordingly, we are processing. Okay. Which are those health conditions? Previously, there were 3 health conditions. Now we are having the 4. Like someone is having low weight, obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, low obesity hoga, so what we will do? Obviously, we will reduce the fat component from his diet. We will increase the protein component. For diabetes, we will remove the sugar. For high blood pressure, we will go for a sodium-free diet. Likewise, pregnant and lactating women, they are having the different need because they are pregnant. Okay, because they are lactating. Okay, that is the need is arising. The geriatric population, they are also having their own need. Accordingly, sports person, they are also having their special requirements. Accordingly, foods are being formulated. It doesn't mean कि वो लोग बीमार है. So the scope is limited to 4 type of physiological or health condition. Age group about 2 years. Specific physiological condition example is sports person, pregnant woman, lactating woman, or health condition underweight, someone is underweight, obese, hypertension, celiac. So these are covered under the FSD. Composition, you can use few nutraceutical ingredients. Okay, the schedules shall contain singly or you can use any ingredient from the schedule first to schedule 8. Okay, in formulation of the FSD subject to a restriction on the schedule 6. Okay, additives for FSD schedule 5B along with the 5E and 5F. Okay, next slide. These are few key features for better understanding. Now we can understand FSD in effective manner. See, FSD may or may not be taken under medical advice. But if you want to proclaim, if you want to sell it under medical advice, you need to specify it. Obviously, it should be taken in a measured quantity. If you are enriching normal food stuff merely with some vitamins and minerals, it will not fall under the purview of the FSDU. Okay. Now, previously, the Schedule 3 was applicable for FSDU. However, now they have removed the applicability of Schedule 3 for the FSDU products. Now, each and every FSDU need to comply with the 1 RDA. If you want to go beyond 1 RDA, you need approval from the Food Authority. They have given 3 types of FSDU formulas and their specific requirements. Say, for example, FSDU formula for FSDU formula food for slimming, weight management, and weight control. It should have energy in the range of 800 to 1200 calorie. You need to give an individual portion or serving shall provide 1/3 or 1/4 of that total energy. It means max to max you can make 3 to 4 serving. That is the meaning of that portioning. Okay. Then we are having the FSDU formula for replacement, for FSDU formula replacement for 1 or more meals of the daily diet. Obviously, energy level will be 200 to 400 kcal. Suppose you are replacing a major part of diet. Okay. Previously, it was 1 or more meals. Now it is major part. Then if you are replacing the major part, then energy should be below 1200 kcal, out of which 25 to 50% energy shall come from the protein. It means protein shall be below 125 gram per day. Then it emphasizes on the quality of the protein. It should be more than 0.8 digestibility. You need to use only L form of the amino acids, except in methionine, they have permitted the DL form also. From fat, they are expecting energy should be below 30%. From linoleic, it should be below 3%. Again, applicability of 1 RDA and adequate fibers. That is the prerequisite for the FSD products. Next slide. This is the new addition. Sports foods for or FSD for sports person are now included. However, they are saying the food for special dietary use as a formula food for replacement of all meals of the daily diet for slimming, weight management, and weight control purposes shall not be considered as a food for special dietary use for sports person. Suppose कोई sports person slimming, weight management, weight control के लिए कुछ ले रहा है, it will not fall under the purview of the FSDU for sports person. That is it will be a plain FSDU. It cannot be claimed as a FSDU for sports person. That is the intention behind the this explanation. Okay. Whenever you are selling on the FSDU for sports person, you should have a sentence recommended to be used under the medical advice by a physician or certified dietitian or nutritionist only. So that is a requirement. That is a labeling requirement. In fact, for the this is the new logo provided for the FSDU for sports person. So this is a new addition in the FSDU category. Similarly, we are having the FSMP. Next slide. See, FSMP shall include food specially prepared for weight reduction and intended as a total replacement of normal diet. That is the scope 1. Scope 2, food intended for particular dietary uses, specially processed or formulated, shall be used only under medical advice. So medical advice is must for the FSMP products. For FSDU, it may or may not be. However, for for FSDU, it was may or may not be. For FSMP, the medical advice is must. And persons with limited or impaired capacity to digest, absorb, metabolize, or excrete ordinary foodstuffs. See, these people are having, say, I would like to go back to a basic definition of food. In food technology books, generally you will find a different definition of the food. Like it will be food is a commodity which can be ingested, digested, and assimilated in the body. If you are having a problem in any of these things, if you are having problem in ingestion, if you are having problem in digestion, if you are having problem in the absorption, it means they cannot take that food. Then the role of FSMP is vital. That's why FSMP are being formulated. These people are having the problem. Their capacity is impaired. Which capacity? Capacity to digest, absorb. They are having the problem. That's why these products can be formulated in a format meant for oral feeding through enteral tubes. It can be given through enteral tubes, not necessarily given orally. Okay. Based on the formulation, these products are classified into 3 categories, like nutritionally complete foods with standard nutrient formulation. It is having standard nutrient formulation. It is, you can say, bonsai of our daily diet. It is just a bonsai of our daily diet. It is having all the required nutrients in that. Okay. The second, nutritionally complete foods with a nutrient adapted formulation specific for a disease. Here the angle is disease. If they are having some particular disease, for that there is a requirement to add particular nutrient, or there is a requirement to remove particular nutrient. So accordingly, these nutritionally complete foods are formulated. Second category. Third categorization is nutritionally incomplete foods with either standard formulation or nutrient adapted formulations specific for a disease, disorder, or medical condition which are not suitable to be used as the sole source of. So third one is not a sole source of nourishment, but it is being formulated as per standard or nutrient adapted formulations. It is linked with the previous two categories. Obviously, age group is more than 2 years. Person with specific disease, disorder, or medical condition, impaired digestion, absorption, can take a FSMP under medical advice. That is the theme behind the FSMP products. Next slide. Obviously, it can contain ingredients from any of the schedules and enzymes from schedule 6. Additives, schedule 5C, 5D along with the 5E and 5F. It should be mandatory. Again, I am repeating, mandatorily taken under the medical advice. It should be formulated as per one RDA. However, if you want to exceed the RDA, you can exceed till the extent of Schedule 3. Right now, the scope of Schedule 3 is limited to the FSMP. Here I have a peculiar example. FSMP is specially prepared for weight reduction and intended as a total replacement of complete diet. It should have energy between 450 to 800 kcal. It should contain more than 50 gram of protein and carbohydrates, and that is more than 50 gram protein, more than 50 gram carbohydrate. You cannot ignore digestibility of protein. Then obviously we need to use L form of the amino acids. Only DL methionine is permitted. More than 3 gram linoleic, more than 0.5 gram alpha linoleic, and adequate dietary fibers. It is sort of complete food with its intention, with an intention of weight reduction. So it will fall under the FSMP. Then we will compare it. Next slide. This is a basic comparison between FSDU. So FSDU are meant to satisfy particular dietary requirements which may exist or arise because of certain physiological or health condition, okay, which exist or arises. However, FSMPs are specially prepared and having special purpose for weight reduction and intended as a total replacement of normal diet. This is a peculiar example. Target not necessarily be patients. FSMP, yes, obviously it is meant for the patient. For people with health condition, it can be part of daily diet or routine life. However, FSMP extent is limited to duration of health condition or illness. जितने दिन आप बीमार हो उतने दिन ही FSMP उसका purpose serve करता है in general sense. Not necessarily it will be applicable, but in general sense जब तक आप बीमार हो तब तक FSMP दिया जाता है. FSDU may or may not be taken under medical advice. FSMP under medical advice. Next slide. Next slide, please. Before we conclude comparison, I would like to highlight the advertising of the FSD is permitted for the target consumers. However, advertising of the FSMP is not permitted. No food business operator shall advertise the FSMP for use by the general public. So, conclusively, you can say FSD is a utility and FSMP is a necessity. Okay. Next slide. I guess we have finished with the health supplement, nutraceutical, FSDU, and FSMP. And most of you might not be aware about the differences between health supplement, nutraceutical, FSDU, FSMP. You might be thinking it is a very complex subject. So generally, I'm giving one peculiar example to explain the difference. So I would like to give one example. So let us have an example. आपके बच्चे स्कूल में जाते हैं. They're going to the school. Okay. तो स्कूल को मानते हैं, स्कूल में जो भी पढ़ाया जाता है उसको मानते हैं हम लोग फूड या डाइट या शेड्यूल. तो देखिए, आपके बच्चे स्कूल में जाते हैं, आपके बच्चे को साइंस, मैथ्स और इंग्लिश पढ़ाया जाता है. ओके. और आपको लगता है कि मेरा बेटा साइंस में वीक है. ओके. आपका बच्चा, आपका बेटा, आपकी बेटी साइंस में वीक है. तो आप क्या करते हो, आप उसको ट्यूशन लगा देते हो. स्कूल में भी पढ़ाया जा रहा है साइंस, मैथ्स, इंग्लिश, उसमें से साइंस में वीक है बेटा, तो आप क्या करते हो, उसको ट्यूशन लगाते हो. द ट्यूशन is a health supplement because he is not performing well. We are supplementing नॉर्मल डाइट, नॉर्मली भी वो पढ़ रहा है साइंस मैथ्स इंग्लिश, लेकिन साइंस में कम परफॉर्म कर रहा है, दैट्स व्हाई उसको ट्यूशन लगाया जाता है, दैट इज अ हेल्थ सप्लीमेंट टू सप्लीमेंट द नॉर्मल डाइट। देन आपको क्या लगता है कि मैं इसको उसकी पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट के लिए, उसके बेनिफिट्स के लिए मैं उसको तबला क्लास लगा दूं। तबला स्कूल में पढ़ाया नहीं जाता, इट इज नॉट हैविंग एनी रिलेशन विद द स्कूल और इट इज नॉट अ सब्जेक्ट फॉर ग्रेडिंग एंड ऑल। आपने उसको क्या कर दिया, तबला क्लास लगा दिया फॉर हिज पर्सनैलिटी डेवलपमेंट। वी कॉल इट एज अ न्यूट्रासिटिकल हैविंग फिजियोलॉजिकल बेनिफिट्स। द तबला क्लास इज अ न्यूट्रासिटिकल, आपका बेटे की पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट। इट इज नॉट अ मैंडेटरी थिंग, बट यू आर पुटिंग, okay, so for his personality development, so you can term it that tabla class as a nutraceutical. Tuition is a health supplement, okay. Then उसके बाद क्या होता है, कोई बच्चा है is not able to come to the school, वो स्कूल नहीं आ पा रहा है, कोई खास रीजन है उसको नहीं आ पा रहा है, उसको पैर को लगा है। देन टीचर्स क्या करते हैं कि स्कूल में तो नहीं आ पाता है, तो टीचर्स क्या करते हैं, कुछ पावर पॉइंट्स बनाते हैं, कुछ ऑडियो विजुअल्स बनाते हैं, तो वो तो नहीं आ पा रहा है, उसके तक पहुंचाना तो जरूरी है। तो खुद के जो लेक्चर्स है दे आर कन्वर्टिंग इट इनटू द डिजिटल फॉर्मेट सो दैट दे कैन टेक इट और दे कैन सेंड इट टू दैट पर्टिकुलर जो बच्चा स्कूल में नहीं आ पा रहा है, बिकॉज कंडीशन, उसकी कंडीशन ऐसी है कि कैन नॉट कम। सो you can symbolize this example with the FSMP product. Okay, so you can compare the stuff with this particular example. Okay, to supplement the tuition is health supplement. That tabla class is a nutraceutical because it is a sort of luxury, though it is not a necessity. किसी बच्चा स्कूल में नहीं आ पा रहा है, उसके लिए टीचर्स ने स्पेशली ये किया है, स्पेशली डिजाइन किया है उसके लिए, then it become a FSMP. Then similar example we can use for FSDU also. There is no उसके लिए तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बच्चों को आने के लिए तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बट आपको लगता है कि होमवर्क देना चाहिए। होमवर्क के लिए हमने कुछ डिजिटल क्लिप्स तैयार किए हर एक बच्चे के लिए, दैट इज अ FSDU. Okay, so there is a you can understand, you can effectively put a concept of health supplement, nutraceutical, FSDU and FSMP by using this example. Okay, then we will go for food with added probiotic ingredients. It is a very simple regulation. It says in any of the food you can add probiotics at a level of more than 10 raised to 8 CFU per recommended serving size per day, then only you can claim that particular product as a food with added probiotic ingredients. The strains, permitted strains are listed in Schedule 8. If you want to go for a new strain or if you want to go for lower viable numbers, obviously you need to opt for a approval from the food authority. Labeling, it says you need to mention it as a probiotic food, you need to give the CFU numbers, then you need to give the recommended serving size along with the warning, not for medicinal use. We are having the similar requirements for the prebiotic food. Next slide, please. Similarly, for prebiotic, you need to go for a Schedule 8. Similar labeling requirement, just you need to mention prebiotic, not for medicinal use, serving size and warning or any other precaution. If you want to give, you can give it on the prebiotic foods. Here also the term is food with added prebiotic ingredients. Obviously, these are the foods in which prebiotics are being added. Similarly, for probiotics, it is a food with probiotic ingredients. Though it is being termed as probiotic or prebiotic food, basically these are foods with added prebiotic and probiotic ingredients. Next slide. Specialty food, we are terming it as heritage of the India. It can be conventional or non-conventional format. It can be either in tablet capsule format or it can be in a powder format. Age group is more than 2 years, having healthy individuals. Composition is limited to schedule 4. However, you may add schedule first, schedule second, other ingredients also. But however, schedule first ingredient is must. Scope of additives is very limited. That is 5E and 5F. 5F, obviously, you need to formulate the product in the form of tablet, capsule, and syrups. Okay. Further condition, every manufacturer or importer shall prepare and maintain a product information file. Remember, if you are taking license under specialty food liabilities, you need to maintain a product information file. File में क्या होता है? Which shall contain information on the ingredients from Schedule 4 used, finished product quality confirmation, and the test methods to demonstrate the presence of active ingredient in the food, or you can say finished product. So this is the liability for specialty food. You need to maintain that product information file. We call it as a PIF. जब भी inspector आता है, he can seek that file. Whether you are maintaining in your finished product, whether you are having the, suppose कभी-कभी क्या होता है, during processing we are losing those ingredients. So it's of no use. That's why specific requirement is there. Important, the usage level of specialty food containing plant or botanical ingredients shall not exceed those levels specified in Schedule 4. Because the level, safety levels has already been assessed and established in the regulation. That is the requirement of the. Then next slide. Novel foods are the stuffs which is not having the history of human consumption, or may have such ingredient which is not having history of human consumption. Or if you are going for any new technology or innovative engineering process, obviously you need to go for a prior approval of the authority. Similarly, next slide. For non-specified foods, मतलब एक तरीके से ये एक रास्ता देता है कि सपोज if कोई ऑप्शन नहीं बचा है, particular ingredient is not mentioned in the regulation, if particular claim is not allowed, हमें क्या करना चाहिए? तो obviously you can go for a approval as per the non-specified food regulation. Next slide. Before we conclude, we will have few slides on the claims. The regulation itself, that clause 4 governs the claims under the HSN regulation. The regulation itself permits the nutritional or health claims in respect of article of food with respect to ingredients content. मेरे प्रोडक्ट में ये है, मेरे प्रोडक्ट में वो है, obviously है तो है, you can claim. Okay. Then health claim is different from the normal claims. Health claim says, health claim means any representation in respect of an article of food that states, suggests, or implies that a relationship exists between the constituent of that nutrient or nutritional health and specific disease condition. Okay. So it establishes the relation between the nutrient and health related benefits. So obviously it will have two parts, nutrient or nutritional ingredients and health related benefits. You can say vitamin C acts against, vitamin C helps in prevent aging. Likewise, that is the health claim. Obviously, subject to valid data, human intervention studies, and product compatibility, you can go for health claims. 6 types of health claims are permitted. That is ingredient or function claims, enhanced function claims, disease risk reduction claims, health maintenance claims, immunity claims, that is increased resistance, except vaccines, and anti-aging claims. Only condition is the health claims in respect of article of food shall be commensurate with adequate level of documentation. Again, it speak about documentation, proof, and review by the food authority when called for. So you can either go for pre-approval, or you can go for a post-approval like thing, or you can go for a review if authority is asking the information about particular claim. So Scope of claim is limited to these 7 things. Okay. Next slide. See again, condition. If health claims are product led, the FBO shall notify to the food authority before putting the same in the market by submitting relevant documents along with a copy of the label. Okay. You need to get scrutinize that label from the authority. Any other claims in an article of food that are not drug claims or health claims, your scientific support does not exist. Suppose you are not having any scientific document or data, obviously you need to go for approval. See, suppose you want to mention a claim are shown to be helping against so and so, then single human intervention study is sufficient. Single evidence is sufficient. Or suppose you want to mention it as proven to be, then you need to have a multiple human intervention studies. The single human intervention study is not sufficient in that case. Okay. Some claims are prohibited. For example, implied claims for curing, like हमारे खाने से ये होता है, कैंसर ठीक हो जाता है, prevents bone fragility in postmenopausal women, ये करता है. So these types of claims are not at all allowed under the HSN regulation. If you will apply for approval also, obviously it will not be accepted because these are prohibited under the regulation. Next slide. Labeling. Whenever you are opting for a labeling of any product, not only HSN product, first you go for a principal labeling regulation, that is FSS Packaging and Labeling Regulation 2011. Very soon it will be labeling and display regulation. Then you go for peculiar labeling requirements mentioned under the clause 3 of, like in general requirements. Then go for specific labeling requirements under respective category, and you can go for proofing under the FSS advertising and claim regulations. So whenever you are designing the label of your HSN product, you need to remember these 4 things: the core labeling regulation, general requirements, product specific requirements, and advertising and claim regulation. Next slide. Licensing. Right now, we have a dedicated kind of business for as a manufacturer, health supplement and nutraceutical. Similarly, if you want to enter into the B2B business, we have dedicated kind of business, manufacturer, substances added to food. In that, you can select a categorization either 99.4 or 99.7 for the schedule ingredients. In that, there is a drop down, the ingredients from schedule 4 to schedule 8 likewise. Okay, schedule 1 and 2 is governed under the 99.5. Next slide. Before you conclude, I would like to say a few things. Remember, these stuffs are foods, these are not drugs. It shall not be presented as preventing, treating, or curing a human disease. Suppose you are having a normal ingredients and you are claiming its specific health benefits, you need to go for approval. If you are using single purified chemical, you need to go for approval. If your claim is not specified under the regulation, you need to go for approval. If you are not having any scientific support of that scientific supporting data of that particular product, if you are having novel food, if ingredient is new, nutrient is new, botanical is new, if you are using low level of probiotic and claiming its efficacy, if you are having new source of nutrients like algae, if you are using chemically synthesized nutraceutical ingredients, you need to go for approval. If your FSD is exceeding RDA, approval. If FSMP product is specially prepared for weight reduction and intended as a total replacement of complete diet with higher RDA, you need to go for approval. This is peculiar FSMP product. And remember, to review labeling and claims in a very critical manner. So we can conclude and go for next slide, question and answer.
Participants, if you have any questions, then you can unmute and ask.
Hello, sir. I have one question. Yeah. So, sir, let's say I have one product which is listed in Schedule 4 and Schedule 6, and it is formulated
Sir, we
into a
have few questions in the chat box. I will read it for you. In Schedule 6, list of ingredients as nutraceuticals, in Part B, the dose is not mentioned. Example, serial number 53, collagen page 144. So how do we apply for license as dose is required to be mentioned?
Actually, regarding Part B, they have given a clear FAQ that the liability of minimum and maximum dosage level is entirely on the FBO. So FBO need to prove two things, its efficacy and safety. So accordingly, you can choose your doses and mention in the statement of additives and ingredients being submitted to the licensing authority. Okay.
Sir, sir, we have been asked to provide the documented data for the dosage. So how do we do that, sir?
Documented data for the
Dosage.
doses. You are using any ingredients for which levels are not specified?
No, sir, it's a very common item, collagen. It is
Okay.
available in liquids, in capsules like that. But we want to get the license for that. But from where do we get the dose format?
You see, for collagen, authority has not given a specific range, right?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Sorry, I'm not able to hear you.
Sir, we have been asked to provide documentation regarding the dosage. What dose should be given, and it must be scientifically backed. But we are unable to find any data for this, sir.
See, we are having so many references available regarding the collagen. In fact, in nutraceutical regulation, rather in amended regulation, I guess they have given a 40, yes, 40 mg per day limit of the undenatured type to collagen. Okay, so you can use such type of scientific references that at this level the efficacy of the collagen is there, and this is the safety limit. So accordingly, you can present your paper with the relevant scientific data.
Sir, from could you please give us the reference name of the reference book from where we can quote this?
Reference book, you can use any scientific papers. It is not limited. If you want a link on a personal level, you can put a mail. I will share a few articles so that it will help you. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. We have given a mail ID also.
I have two questions, sir. One is
Yeah.
like overages are allowed for nutrients. So, can we add overages at a level more than 1 RDA?
See, overages are already specified in the schedules. You cannot exceed those overages. They are already taken into the consideration. These are the overages which are permitted.
What should be the interpretation of overages as far as 1 RDA is concerned?
See, overages are always related to the labels. because that's why we are always reading the definition as intended use. In regulation, if you refer overages, the overages means amount of excess nutrients added above the label claim during the manufacturing to maintain at least the claimed amount of the nutrient during its entire shelf life. That is the intention behind the overages. So, for example, I remember overages for vitamin E is 10%. Likewise, it is already there in the first schedule, table C. Okay.
Yeah. So like if RDA for vitamin A is 50 mg, I'm just taking a hypothetical example, and then adding overage on it, I can add 50 mg plus 10% overages, which is actually going above RDA. That is fine, right?
Yes, why not?
Okay. So second question is, for example, I'm adding a nutraceutical ingredient in my composition, but I
Mhm.
do not want to make any claim related to that ingredient.
Mhm.
Even then, do I need to I need to check the quantity of the nutraceutical ingredient till end of shelf life if the ingredient doesn't degrade over time?
See what happened. The range permitted minimum and maximum level of few of the ingredients. I guess it is around 84 ingredients we are having the range. That was a very thoughtful move. They studied in detail that this minimum level is required to achieve the particular physiological benefits. They have given a minimum level. Then upper level speaks about the safety. So we cannot compromise irrespective of the claim and all. If you are claiming that article as a nutraceutical by virtue of addition of schedule 6, obviously you need to adhere to the specified levels. We are having
And
so
what
many
PMP
challenges
part
regarding
B
this.
ingredients? Yeah. What
Part
about
B, it is
part
up to
B?
part B, it is entirely up to the FBO.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clear. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, the leaf and the root powder is supposed to be used as per a regulation, Schedule 4.
Yes.
So, can we
Yes.
use leaf or root extract?
Yes.
If yes, then what will be the permitted dosage limit for that? Because in
Then you need
regulation,
to then you
yeah.
need to consider the extractive ratios.
Okay. So, sir, my another question is in regulation, only extract is mentioned. They have not specified the parts. Like we can use the fruit extract, leaf extract. So, in that case, what we are supposed to use? Like we can use any part, or is there any restriction?
Actually, the case presented by you is applicable to only uh, 3 or 4 ingredients. In that also, they have mentioned, suppose say for example, I will give you the example of Brahmi. Okay. Hmm? In Brahmi, they have mentioned you can use Brahmi at the level of 5 to 10 grams whole plant as a powder. Below that, they have mentioned extract. They have just mentioned extract. It nowhere speaks about the stem or leaf and all. But it should be read like, suppose they have mentioned whole plant Brahmi 5 to 10 gram. Below that, it is mentioned as extract. It means that extract will be obviously a whole plant. It should be read with that. It should be read in that sense. Okay.
But sir, even there are some ingredients for which leaf as a powder is approved, but the extract is also approved. But which extract we should consider? Like only for leaf extract or for root extract or for fruit extract?
No, suppose particular portion is permitted. Obviously, you can use its extract. It happens in the case of amla also. In amla, you can use fresh fruit, you can use powder, you can use juice. Okay, forget about the juice. So you can use the extract of fresh fruit, you can use the extract of powder. That is the meaning of that positioning. That's why extract is always positioned at last. Okay. Suppose seed
Okay.
is permitted, below that if they have mentioned extract, obviously its meaning is extract of that seed is permitted.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Sir, my another question is, it is mandatory to follow the minimum dosage. So
Yes,
if
yes.
we are using the dosage below that limit, so we can we claim our product that it is giving this benefit, or we can say that our product is having this ingredient. For example, if we are using ashwagandha below the minimum dosage limit, so can we put can we claim our product that it is giving the health benefits along with other ingredients?
No, no, ma'am. Presently, the topic is under discussion, but you cannot claim. Even you cannot add also
So,
at a
sir,
level.
if like in combination, if we want to add this ingredient to our formulation, so in that case, how we can get the license?
You need to comply the minimum and maximum limits. That is the issue. That is one of the issue that is really a concern from your side. In fact, it should be like, say, for example, if you are complying two ingredients from the schedule 6, you want to put one additional ingredient like ashwagandha. It should be allowed at a level of 1 gram. Presently, we are having the range of ashwagandha in the 3 to 6 gram. For two ingredients, you are complying the limits. You just want to add ashwagandha at the level of 1 gram. As per the present regulation, it is not allowed. If you want to add, you need to comply the limit of 3 to 6 grams.
Sir, what if we provide the international documentation as an supporting evidence?
Yes. That's why they have kept the door open. Suppose you want to go with the lower limit, like in probiotics or any ingredient. Suppose you think no, 1 to 2 gram ashwagandha is sufficient. It is having the efficacy. You need to go for a approval from the authority. You can use with the approval. There is no issue. Like astaxanthin, we have received so many applications for the approval.
So, sir, my last question. The PCOD or PCOS is an hormonal condition. So, this product will fall under which category? In nutraceutical or FSDU?
PCOD and PCOS are recognized as diseases, ma'am. That is the problem. If you are acting against obesity arising out of the PCOS or PCOD, you can formulate stuff in that sense. However, you cannot claim this article is meant to treat or to cure the PCOS, or it is acting against the PCOS. That is the problem.
So, in that case, we need to take product approval.
If you will apply also, it will not fall under the bit of this regulation. That is the issue. But you can obviously opt for obesity arising out of the PCOS. You can formulate article in that sense, but you
But
cannot.
sir, there are various marketed products that they are claiming it to be under nutraceutical and health supplement. So, how they are claiming
See,
such products?
nutraceuticals are never meant for health. Nutraceutical is always for the healthy individuals. हेल्थ सप्लीमेंट्स आर ऑलवेज फॉर द हेल्दी इंडिविजुअल्स. उसके लिए आपको कोई बीमारी होने की जरूरत ही नहीं.
Okay.
It is a wrong claim. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I have two questions. Yeah, one question is we have one product made from botanical ingredient mentioned in Schedule 4 and Schedule 6, and the product is in tablet form, and it is used as testosterone booster to help muscle gain. So for this, do we require approval?
For claiming or for getting the license?
For claiming, sir, so to get the product in the market.
See, there are two things. If you want to opt for a license, say for example, you are using one ingredient from the Schedule 6, another from the Schedule 4. Obviously, article will fall under the purview of under the definition of nutraceutical.
Nutraceutical, yeah.
You will get the license. However, if you want to claim this article is testosterone booster, which will result into the what you were saying,
muscle gain.
Muscle gain. Then you need to opt for approval of that particular based on your scientific support data.
Sir, if I have scientific support, let's say I have 2 clinical studies already, so still I need to get an approval?
Yes, ma'am. You need to get an approval, and in response to which you can get approval like proven to be. if you are having more than one clinical studies. Okay.
Okay, okay. And sir, I have another product which again contains ingredient in Schedule 6, but
Okay.
the form is not mentioned anywhere in the in the regulation. Let's say this is in a flex form. So for this also, I'll have to get the approval.
Yes, you need to get approval, except for extracts.
So, but sir, can I do it in the proprietary food category?
See,
Proprietary
the
food.
first sentence in the proprietary food regulation itself says
Huh.
it will not cover health supplement, nutraceutical, FSSAI, FSD. When you
Yeah.
read that,
Yes, yes.
that's
No,
what
sir. What I'm saying, it is not under the purview of nutraceutical or these 8 categories,
Mm,
and it is a food item,
mm,
and it is not means it is a whole food item like any other items in the market,
mm,
and it is. But the problem is the form is not mentioned. For example, oats. Oats is mentioned in FSSAI regulation,
mm,
but my product is not mentioned in the FSSAI regulation, because this is a flakes made from wheat.
mm,
So wheat flour is mentioned under proprietary food,
mm.
but wheat flakes is not mentioned.
Okay.
So wheat flakes, do I need to get approval?
Say, suppose wheat is allowed.
Hmm. Hmm.
If you are claiming that particular stuff being manufactured out of that wheat,
Huh.
you can claim, there is no issue, no? But not
Okay.
as a nutraceutical and all.
Ha ha. No, not
For
as a
nutraceutical,
nutraceutical. Huh.
okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
So, uh,
Yeah.
so I would like to know whether this therapeutic food like RUSF, like ready to use supplementary food or ready to use therapeutic food, plus F75 and F100, such kind of food will come under which category?
Presently,
FSU,
they are not.
FSSU. Yeah, okay.
These are not governed by these categories. Matter
So
is
can
under
we
discussion.
specify them
Obviously,
under non-specified category?
presently it is under non-specified, but very soon it will come under FSMP. Okay.
FSMP. Thank you so much, sir. And one more question. For this purified chemicals, there is a restriction. So, do we have a list of purified chemicals in the amendment, like
No,
which
no,
we cannot use?
no. It is like if you want to use any purified form, because it will have a increased efficacy. Na? That's why approval is required. These are not the separate thing. It is just a purified chemical entity of the articles which are already listed in this regulation.
Okay, thank you, noted, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So, what is the procedure for the approval of the product?
For approval of the product, you need to
Yeah.
apply in the FSSAI headquarters. You can apply via mail also. Presently, we are not having the online portal. It was
Okay.
there, but presently it is not operational. But still, you can send your approval application via online mode, and you can pay on the website epay.fssai.gov.in. So there is no need to go and submit it in a physical manner.
So, we have to submit all the supporting documents
Yes.
on.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what is the difference in extract in Schedule 4 and Schedule 6?
Different in extracts mentioned in the Schedule 4 and Schedule 6. See what happened when this regulation was being drafted. We thought these ingredients are really a heritage of our country. Okay, that was the sole intention. You can say what is the difference between Schedule 6 and Schedule 4. Most of the things are similar. Most of the extracts, they are having the beneficial properties. Likewise, you can say few botanicals, they are having the nutritional benefits, or they can act as a nutraceutical also. But we have marked or we have benchmarked the Schedule 6 with the codex, and Schedule 4 was kept as a separate, or it is called, we can call it as an Indian thing. Okay, there is no difference, but you can say if you want to formulate products on the basis of Schedule 4, you will get a term as a specialty food. That is the intention or thought process behind placing the Schedule 4 different than that of the Schedule 6 rather than merging it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Umesh, any questions or can we conclude?
Sir, we have few questions in the chat box. The leaf or root powder is supposed to be used as per Schedule 4. So can we use extract of leaf or root? If yes, then what will be the permitted dosage needs to be followed?
It depends on your extractive ratios. It is just like compressing the files, like you are having the 50 MB data and you are compressing it into the 5 MB likewise thing. Okay. You need to consider the extractive ratios then.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Participants, if you have any more questions, then you can unmute and ask. Sir, I think that's
Hello,
all
sir.
the questions.
Sir, I have a question.
Okay.
Sir, could you please explain the notes that are mentioned below the schedule for ingredients in the regulations? Note
Which
number
note you
1.
are, which note you are referring?
HSN regulation.
In which note then specifically you want explanation about which note?
Note number 2.
Can you read it?
Yes, sir.
I don't have book with me.
Educate scientific rationale either based on rationale as enriched in the authoritative text or as demonstrated in the published scientific literature shall be applied for manufacturing foods as supplements or nutraceuticals while using the ingredient listed in the schedule 4 of said regulation. In case of use of more than one ingredient listed in the above regulation in a formulation, adjustment may be permitted by way of reduction or alteration within the permissible usage range based on similar scientific rationale, subject to that such a use provides a safe formulation. Ingredient if used in extract form as permitted in the regulation, proportion of which shall be based on extractive value as applicable. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Then
Yes, sir.
that's all.
Yes, sir.
Last sentence might be there, no?
FBO shall provide the rationale as part of the application or when demanded by the authority.
Yes. See what happens. Suppose you want to make a combination, and that particular thing is giving the same nutraceutical component out of that extracts. Obviously, you will opt for a combination, and you will combine those extracts. Then authority may ask, or you need to provide the rationale why you are combining these two ingredients, why you are adjusting like that. That was the intention behind the note 2. It is a new note. It will be applicable since 1st of April.
Okay, and sir, note number 1. Ingredient listed in the above schedule shall be used after due processing or in their extract forms, subject to permissible usage range given in the last column of the table. Offering this ingredient either alone or in combination or such or minimal processing, like clean, TVD.
Okay, I got your point, note 1. What is the connection between note 1? It is linked with the section 22. It just says it should be specially processed and specially formulated. That is the intention. To sustain that, they have given a note 1. Just minimal processing is not sufficient. Okay, they need to give a, they need to undertake a due processing, or they need to go for extractive. The intention is the people should get that desired nutrient and resulting nutritional benefit out of that particular botanical. That is the simple intention behind note 1.
Sir, if
Okay.
we want to make ginger powder, in that case, we will take the whole ginger and we will grind it and make its powder. So in this case, how we will enhance the processing for getting the more benefit, like.
The first thing is whether processing is required or not. If we are considering the peculiar case of the ginger, okay. In
Okay, sir.
ginger, the regulation itself permits extracts. Okay, it nowhere permits the ginger as such as a nutraceutical. When you refer the ginger, it will say rhizome standardized extract. Itself says you cannot use a ginger. You need to use a extract. That is the intention behind this type of notes. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, if there is two ingredient, one of is from schedule 4 and other is from schedule 6, then what will be the category of the product?
It will be nutraceutical.
Like we have one product, camellia sinensis, so it is given in both schedule 4 and schedule 6.
Yes, there are so many products which are given in schedule 1 and schedule 6. Suppose you want to classify this article as a specialty food. Then obviously you will quote a reference of camellia sinensis under schedule 4. Okay. For the
Okay.
same substance, if you want to license as a nutraceutical, you will quote a reference of schedule 6. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So,
Yeah. ma'am.
and if the product contains both minerals and probiotics, so
Yes.
what will be the
Minerals
category?
and minerals and
Minerals and one probiotic strain.
minerals and see, when you read that peculiar sentence, it says this is a food with probiotic. This is food with prebiotic. We are not having regulation like probiotic food, prebiotic. They are just claims. Probiotic, you can mention probiotic food, prebiotic food. We are not having regulation like it is a prebiotic food, probiotic food. It says food with added probiotic. So you can take any food in that you can add a prebiotic or probiotic ingredient. Then only it will fall or govern by this category.
So we can use schedule 1 with probiotic and we can
You can go
categorize
like
that.
you can go like this. Suppose you are establishing some particular stuff as a health supplement by virtue of combination of one RDA,
Sorry,
schedule 1
sorry.
and 2. Suppose you are establishing particular article as a health supplement.
Yeah.
Okay. By virtue of combining schedule 1 and 2. Okay. Or merely keeping schedule 2 within a one RDA. In that you are adding a pre or probiotic. The article will be food with added probiotic. Food is health supplement. The article will be health supplement with added probiotic. Okay.
Okay, we will categorize like food with health supplement with added probiotic.
If you want to categorize like that, you can categorize like that also. Subject to condition, you are
Okay.
meeting 100 to 8 CFU per serving per day. Okay.
So we have to write also on the label.
If you want to claim it as a probiotic or prebiotic, if you don't want, if you want to just keep it as a health supplement, obviously schedule 7 and 8 is allowed in the health supplement. No problem at all. Okay.
Okay, thank you.